Okay, hi everyone. I'm Brandi. I'm a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure my food off the gray sheet. I write them down. I commit them to my sponsor. I don't eat in between those meals, no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing. This is my very first qualification, so I'm super nervous. And everybody is. Uh, yeah. Okay. I tried to write down what I was going to say so that I didn't have this happen, and I was unsuccessful. So let's start with as a child, I was raised by, I'm one of five. I'm the youngest of five, but I was raised as an only child, which is a whole nother story that I won't get into. But my mom was very abusive, and I learned very early that food equaled love, and she would bake things, and when she was baking things, it just centered around the food. We got to go out once a month to our favorite restaurant and eat all the things that we weren't supposed to eat because she was a health food nut and didn't let me have any of the normal things that normal kids get to eat. So fast forward to my teens, I became a rebellious teen. This is my first 12-step program, except for this portion of the story where I was um, just kind of trying to be like everybody else and doing drugs and drinking. And so of course, my mom got me into like treatment. I was going to AA meetings and NA meetings, and of course, now that I look back, I totally didn't need to do that, but I still needed uh, help, but I didn't need to be doing all these meetings and whatnot because I do not have that problem today in my life. But once I had my first child at 19, and I will say I was never really a fat kid. I was just a little bit chubby. But I was the fat friend. I heard somebody else say the fat funny friend. I don't even really think I was funny. I was just fat and or not, just the chunky little friend, the sidekick. Um, but when I had my first child at 19, I put on a lot of weight, and I did not lose it after I had them. And I also discovered that I could buy the things that I wanted to eat with my own money, and because I was an adult. And so that's what I did. I would buy whatever I wanted, and I ate whatever I wanted. And then I got married, and I had two more kids, and then we got divorced, and then I got married again. And then I was always on some sort of diet of some kind, restriction, calorie restriction, walking every day, which I'm not saying that's we're supposed to walk. We need to stay active. We use it or lose it, right? But I would do it excessively, like counting my calories and what I was taking in and versus what I was using. Um, so fast forward to 2012, 11, my husband got sick with cancer and lived almost 10 months, and then he died. And then I had nobody to take care of except for myself. And I was not used to taking care of myself. My kids were grown, and I was scared and fat, really fat. I have a picture. Um, I'm only 5'1", so I don't know if you guys can see. But anyway, that was 2 years ago at my oldest kid's 25th birthday. And so I had some health issues, and so aside from my husband dying, I had some health issues. I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2018, and that really scared me because I look at my mom, I'm most certain a compulsive overeater. But I look at her and I see all her health issues, and I know that if I continue the way that I'm going, I'm going to be just like my mom. And she's got diabetes and AFib, and she's had strokes, and I don't want to do that. I want to be there for as long as possible for my kids, um, because I feel that I owe them that much because they only have one parent now. So um, uh, so back to the diabetes. I was diagnosed with diabetes and type 2. And I immediately started eating differently. Oh, like overnight was health food nut again. And I lost a few pounds. But more importantly, I got my A1C down, which made me, but I was also on medication. So I went back and she was like, oh, you don't have to take this medication anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Now I can eat whatever I want. So there I went back again and I just started eating whatever I wanted. And I just started putting more and more pounds on. And like in the back of my mind, I knew that my A1C would be all out of whack again. And, but it just didn't stop me because I had this desire that I had to feed this. Well, now that I know now that this is the disease talking, but I didn't know this then. So last year on Halloween, I went to, well, it was the 26th of October. I went to a Halloween party for my kid. And I ate from the moment I got there until this is what brought me to Gray Sheet. From the moment I got there until the moment I left. And as ridiculous as this sounds, the little triangle things that are in 3 layers, I was eating those, and I don't even like those. I was eating those as I was walking out the door because, you know, I still had a little bit of room left. So then I got into the truck and I could not sit up. And that really, I mean, like I was so full, I had to recline the seat in the truck on the drive home. And that was the night that I Googled, how do you know you're a compulsive overeater? Because I had to have like a checklist or something like, if you do this, or you do this, or you do that, that was how I was going to determine whether or not if I had a problem, like really if I had a problem, because, you know, I had never had any type of inkling that this was going on. So there was a little checklist of questions that I could answer. And I was like, oh, yeah, check, check, check. Well, it brought me to Overeaters Anonymous. And I should say that there's a part of my story when in 2015, I moved to Mississippi and I met a veteran gray sheeter outside of obviously Gray Sheet. And when she was telling me what she did with her food and she weighs and measures, and I thought that was the most ridiculous thing ever, and that I was never going to ever be in any position to where I had to do what she was doing, because I just thought that was way crazy. So then there was OA, and then I was like, oh, what was that one that she called? Oh, Gray Sheet. Let me see if I can just get the menu. That will solve my problem, because really that's where I have a problem with, is the menu, like formulating a menu around my eating. So there are available copies on like Pinterest or whatever. But fortunately, I found the phone bridge information, and the very first phone bridge meeting that I went to was the 30th of October. And so the next day was my first abstinent day, Halloween. But the first person I heard qualify on the phone bridge, I cried through the entire meeting, which I am so grateful that it was a phone bridge and nobody could really see me, because I was kind of ugly crying. And, you know, I just started hearing my story, like everybody's story. That's how I always feel, is everybody's story. I just have a little bit of that story is mine, and that's mine, and that's mine. And so I've been in program for 8 months, and I finally hit my 90 days, which I'm so excited about for so many reasons. But the mental clarity, and I mean, I feel so different. I kept relapsing. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. But I kept relapsing. And I mean, it was just kind of, you know, screw it. I don't care. I'm just going to eat. Like one time I didn't want to have to go back and get my scale. So instead of just, you know, maybe not eating and just eating when I got back to the house, oh no, I was like, go big or go home. And then I was like, well, I've already done it. So the next day we were flying somewhere, and I was like, well, I might as well just eat over here. And here, let me grab a couple of pastries on the way. Oh, sorry. You know, it's just, the mind, it's just so debilitating in your brain. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm here today and I'm
That's
abstinent.
10 minutes, Brandi.
Thank you. I'm abstinent and I'm grateful. And now I really practice a no matter what, like no matter what. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to stop and I'm going to, use all the tools that I've been given, from people that I've met in this program, my sponsor, um, you know, different experiences that I've had. And it has to be no matter what, because I can't go down that road again. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say is this is such a disease of isolation. I work in a grocery store, and driving to and from home, I'm about 20 minutes. Well, I would use that time wisely to binge on things that I, don't need to be eating. And then my kid borrowed my car for 6 months. So I couldn't binge because I couldn't ride, like, we have a little shuttle up here. I couldn't ride that shuttle and binge on things. I mean, people would be looking at me and that would be weird. And so then I got my car back. Uh, that was the end all. Got, you know, so now I just focus on each day. Today is, like I said, 92. So I'm here and I'm grateful for this program, and super, super grateful for the relationships that I have been building in this program, because those are the people I can fall back on when I'm having a crappy day. So um, I think I'm going to wrap that up for now. And maybe next time I'll have more to say. So thanks, guys, no matter what.